Hey there, good looking. Join me for what is going to be a very yummy series focusing on increasing the mobility of your joints as well as lengthening the muscles. Now, I recommend that you have a pillow or a yoga bolster as well as a couple of yoga blocks or something similar to help pop the ground up for a couple of the poses. All right, let's go get started. Hi there and welcome. My name is PJ Wren, and I've been a certified personal trainer for close to 3 decades, helping women over the age of 40 live their fittest and fiercest life. And it is so awesome to have you here. Now let's start seated. You're going to want to pop your hips up on that pillow or yoga bolster or something similar. I just find it's a lot more comfortable for the hips to be in this position. Now we're going to fire along our legs so they're not crossed. You've got one leg in front of the other. Doesn't matter which one's in front. Lengthen the spine, close your eyes. Let's just draw a few deep breaths in before we begin. So through the nose, inhale, feel the chest and belly rise, and then exhale through the mouth. Again, deep breath in through the nose. Being aware that as you take that breath in, we're not elevating the shoulders, and that we can feel the belly expand. That air is getting everywhere, lower lobes of the lungs, even into the back. 2 more breaths. Last one. Eyes open, starting with the neck, taking it very slow, controlled, articular rotations. Mirroring me, drop the chin down and with control and strength, create a half circle, bringing the ear to the other shoulder, and now rotate behind, looking up. So we're working mobility. Let's do one more in this direction. And it's important to note when we're training mobility, we want to keep strength and integrity in the joint. We're not just swinging the head either way once that ear lines up with the shoulder. Chin to chest, then ear to shoulder. Almost making circles with the chin. Last one. And to center. Crossing the hands at the shoulders, working into the T-spine, your thoracic spine now. Think about those controlled circles, just trying to move from the mid-back up to the neck. And again, it's slow with control. Rounding the back, and then extending. Let's do the other direction. And it's this extension that's probably going to feel the best for you because we just don't do it enough. And we tend to be quite locked up in this mid-back area of ours. Last one. Nice. Onto the left knee. If you have sensitive knees, maybe double up your mat. Let's bring those yoga blocks or similar close to you for when we need them. Left knee underneath the hip, right leg is extended out. Now starting into the shoulder here with a shoulder circle or with an arm circle, but again, it's controlled. So let's lead with the thumb until we get to wrist and shoulder lined up, and then rotate so the thumb's now pointed to the front, and we're leading with the pinky. Slow, slow, slow. Exaggerate that range of motion. One more time. Lead with the thumb. So this is a much better way of increasing the mobility of your shoulder than if you were just to swing the arm. Keeping the shoulder plugged into the socket. And release. Take the hands on the hips now. Lunge forward while you lean back, feeling that front hip of the left side open up and warm up. 2 more. Now go back to left knee under hip. Squeeze this left glute, bring the hands up. Left arm reaches up and across, bicep to ear, back to center. Other arm up and across, bicep to ear. 1 more each side. Waking up the side of the body. Release. Hands in front. Slide this knee behind you further. Really feel that opening of the hip. Now, if you'd like, you can pop up off of the back knee. That is completely optional. But what we're doing is taking that inside arm, that right arm of ours, and with control, following our hand with our gaze, coming behind, and then circling back to wrist under shoulder. Let's do that again. Circle, leading with the pinky, and back. 1 more time. Knee back to ground. Grab those blocks, or otherwise, you've got different heights too. If you're using a yoga block, I've got mine at the highest height. You can go down to here and you can go down to there for your 3 options. Plug this back of the knee of this right side down towards the ground, toes up. Press the hips back, lengthen into the hamstrings as well as your spine. And this is where I said that yoga blocks really come in handy. They help build that ground up so we can focus on the movement and not try to struggle to get our hands to the ground. If you're on the fence about investing in some yoga blocks, get off the fence, do it. They don't cost much, they don't take up much room, and they really do assist in many mobility, stretching, and traditional yoga poses. Couple more breaths. And release. Right knee to ground. Yoga blocks off to the side. Let's get that left leg now out. First, right arm now. Lead with the thumb. Control it. Slow it down and then rotate the pinky and now lead with the pinky. 1 more time. Hands on hips, gently rock forward and back, opening up now that right hip flexor. Good. Two more. Slide back so that right knee and hip are again lined up. Squeeze that right glute, and that's going to help you release that right hip flexor more. Extend through that spine. Hands are here. Take that right arm. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring it down. Other arm. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. 1 more each side. Plug the hands down in front now, right beside that left foot, and let's guide that back knee further behind us. Now we have that option to stay here or tuck the toes under, lift that knee up. Now let's take that right arm nice and slow. Follow your hand with your gaze. Half circle it till it lines up with that shoulder and then bring it back home. Wrist under shoulder. 2 more times. Last one. Back knee to the ground, grab those yoga blocks, build up that ground, heel to ground, toes up, press the hips back, lengthen the spine, breathe. Feel that opening in the hamstring. And the leg isn't shaking. On a scale of 0 to 10, you're at about a 5. You just want to feel that length happening. It should feel good. Couple more breaths. And release. Yoga blocks off to your side. Pillow or your bolster is lined up mid-mat. So if you were to lie down on it on this mat, it's going to hit around the just underneath the chest, so around the lower ribs. Bring your hands in front. Spread those fingers. Now see if you can spread them a bit further. We want them wide so we get some finger range of motion here, and then grip the mat with your fingertips to help take some of the pressure off your knees, or off your wrist, pardon me. Knees are hip width apart. Tuck your back toes under and bring the hips up for a downward dog. And then make sure you have equal amount of pressure on each side of the hand. So we're not placing more pressure on the outside of the hand, which can happen with a downward dog pose. Now take a peek at your feet. They should be in a straight line. Maybe spread the toes if that feels good, if that's where you want to go right now. Or perhaps pedal the feet. Find what's going to help the tight area that you're feeling today out. Or perhaps it's just stillness, pressing the hips back, ears beside the biceps, and breathe. Knees to ground, chest on top of the pillow or bolster, and then elbows underneath the shoulders. So it's a modified Sphinx. Trying to work some extension in our low back here. Now walk the feet close together, tops of the feet resting on the mat. Now, if you want to increase the intensity, you can get rid of the bolster. So there's different ways that we can work into that extension. But we're here for a minute. One thing that we want to pay attention is that we extend the spine throughout our day. A lot of us sit in this posterior tilt position with sitting, whether it be in front of a computer, driving, or if you're traveling a lot in a car or airplane. So here we get to now balance all that spinal flexion with some extension. As you hold this, keep those shoulders away from the ears. Gaze in front or just slightly above. Really let those hips drop, trying to create that curve, that extension in the low spine. Now pay attention. Are you squeezing your glutes? If you are, maybe release them a bit. If you find that this is too pinchy in the low back, go back to the bolster or pillow underneath the upper abdomen. You can also press your feet into the floor, and that'll help out. So we hold for the last few seconds. Let's get a little bit into our neck rotation here. Take a look over your left shoulder, back to center, and then right shoulder. Center, one more each time. And release. Tuck your toes under, press yourself back. Bring yourself into tabletop, wrists under shoulders. Again, fingers are spread, knees apart underneath the hips. Let the low back sag, the gaze goes up. Deep breath in, and then exhale around the spine, tuck the chin, push the ground away. One more time, deep breath in, low back sags, head looks up, press the ground. Back to center. Take the hands and still keep them spread. Bring the fingers so that they're now pointed towards the knees, and then your palm is completely flat on the ground. So if you need to walk your knees forward to allow that to happen, go for it. Know that the further you walk out, the more intense this becomes. Now from this position, I want you to slide your shoulders side to side. If anything is painful in the wrist, please stop doing this, or maybe walk forward, see if that alleviates the pain. But what we're trying to do here is work the range of motion into that wrist joint, as well as strength into the wrist. Good, now make some bigger circles here. We're still trying to keep that full palm on the ground, which might be challenging as the hips sit back. One more. Excuse me, other way. And center. Release and shake out the hands. Good job. That feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. If it didn't, then perhaps you went a little too hard and maybe loosen up your intensity next time. Let's get you back seated on your pillow, bolster. This time, insoles of your feet are together. Allow the knees to drop down. Inhale the spine so you're seated nice and tall. Exhale and walk yourself forward now. Feel that stretch, that opening in the groin, the adductors. Walk it back. Now do the same with a straight leg now. Straighten them. Inhale, spine is tall. Exhale, walk forward. Toes pointed up to your ground. Feeling a different sensation now in that adductor area. And walk yourself back. Bring your legs crossed. Take your hand and mirror me so your right hand is there, and just rotate, look over that shoulder, that left shoulder of yours. Still sitting nice and tall. Back to center. Other hand uses that as, some leverage to help really get that twist, that spinal twist. So sit up, spinal twist, look over your right shoulder. And release. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to work with me further and on a deeper level, you can either join us over on Patreon or Over 50 Fitness for a free 14-day trial. All the information's down there in the description. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next workout. Bye. The only equipment you need is a towel? No, you don't need a towel. Nope. You need a pillow, not a towel. You can grab a towel if you want, but it's really a pillow.